Menu narration set to 100. Menu narration set to 100.
He's got tattoos, he's bad news. Yeah, that's all anybody's ever said about me. And yeah, I like your
Menu narration set to 100.
You might think I chose this way of living now, but it chose me. You can hear me coming with a 6-2 humming, Guns N' Roses bumping through a 12-inch floor. I don't need me nothing but a spot out in the country. I smile when they say that I ain't me anymore. Ain't a thing changed round here but the money. You try to mix it up, but let me tell you something. Same in my Dixie, same rowdy bunch with me. I'll be laid up in the dirt before you ever take it from me. So take the boy out the truck, take the boy out the mud, put him up in a PJ. Turn it up and keep it running, say whatever you want, but I'm anything but new.
We've had a driving rainstorm make its way through the plains, and it definitely is going to be a factor here this afternoon at Empower Field at Mile High in Denver. Today, after a topsy-turvy opening weekend, it's on to week 2, and we've got a good one here, as it'll be the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Denver Broncos. On the visiting sideline, their head coach. His guys got the season started on a high note, a home victory in the opener. On the other side, the head coach of the home team. His guys, on the other hand, weren't as fortunate in the opener, so they'll look for their first win here at home in week 2. And off we go from Denver. Oh, a heck of a move, man. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. So here are the Broncos now for their opening drive. And they will be led out by their 6'6" quarterback.
Would you say that last week's performance by him, workmanlike in terms of numbers?
1 touchdown, 1 pick, but obviously a loss.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line for him. All he cares about is how do we find a way to win the game. Maybe leans on a few other parts of the offense, and hopefully springs a receiver or two free.
They'll start on the ground here on first down. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. Now after all of this, hang on here because he appears to be shaken up. We'll step aside and get a report when we come back to Denver. Well, they'll run it here on the jet sweep. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
At the 40-yard line.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Pressure comes, and down he goes. The Eagles get there for the sack. They'll go in the books as a 7-yard loss on the sack, and it's 3rd down. We'll see where they go for this play call. Obviously tough in this spot, backed up. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down. And last week in the loss, 5 punts as he gets this one away. This is taken around the 12. All told, a 54-yard punt, 13 on the return. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. Looking to put a drive together.
Come on. Cut back there. Like Dragon 60.
Throwing to start the drive. Terry. Well, that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there. Forced the ball free, and it's 2nd down. You look at this Bronco defense. They've been pretty much a mess against the pass, number 31 in the league.
They'll take that play right there each and every snap because throughout this season, they've given up some big plays. To be able to hold someone to no gain, oh, yeah, they'll take that one all game long.
Here's a quick throw caught out wide. Powering his way forward. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That one a gain of 20 and a first down.
And let's face it, that what we just saw there, not a surprise, is it? I mean, this is what he does well. And if you don't tackle him as soon as he catches the ball, this is the end result. Big yardage after it.
Got the speed, the agility, so good with run after catch. And we're only in the first quarter, so they better get a wrangle and a hold on that quickly.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And what's really difficult to try and defend him is if you want to press him so that you get him on the ground quickly after the catch, a lot of times he'll just run past you at the initial point of contact and he'll go deep.
A good pickup there, 21 yards.
Oh, a lot of credit to the play caller here. He saw the design in his mind and implemented it. A little zone stretcher here because they started the tight end on the left side of the formation and sent him on a crossing route. And this works really well where you can find that space between levels, and they were able to do so for good yardage.
Again, he'll drop to throw. And that'll be incomplete. The Eagles 1-0 on the year following the win in Week 1, and they were able to take care of business in front of the home crowd last week.
Yeah, it's always nice to get that opener at home, but now things get a little bit tougher. The good thing for them, though, is they take a little extra confidence with them when they head out on the road.
And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. That's good for a first down, his second catch of the opening drive.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
Now a play fake here on first down. On the RPO, he'll keep it himself. And able to get this down inside the 15, either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. He'll get 8 on the scramble there. It'll be second and a couple. Now a handoff up the middle. Vickers. And he'll find his way down right around the 12. 2 yards on the carry there, and it's going to lead him to third down.
Brings up third and less than a yard.
Let's go now.
Looking to throw. Terry. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive.
Well, only their first drive, Charles, but they talked to us about needing to convert on third down, in particular not letting third and short opportunities slip through their fingers. Well, they were successful right there.
It also tells you that they're successful on first and second down as well to get to third and manageable and make them able to pick up those first downs. Now here we are, first and goal. They got to like what they're doing on this drive.
So the ball position now at the 3. Here's second and goal. They'll try to run this one in. And he's going to get this back to the 3-yard line and no further.
You know, whistles and a stoppage here. Looks like one of the Eagles is in some discomfort out there.
We'll step aside and get a report when we come back to Denver.
Big play coming here. It's third and goal.
Back to throw. Terry.
He'll try to pick it up himself.
To the goal line, but it's incomplete. So it's been a long drive. They've held the ball for quite a while. Now what do you do here?
Well, to me, at this stage after this drive, this close to the goal line, 3 points would be a letdown. I'm going for it here.
So on now the field goal team for Philadelphia. And his kick is good.
So a long drive gets him down inside the 5, but ultimately they settle for just the field goal.
But I have to think that if maybe they were a yard closer, That would have made their decision tougher, and I think they likely would have gone for it. But in this situation, they just decided to take the 3, and I think it was a smart move.
And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. Denver's offense now set to go. The last series for them, a little disappointing, forced to punt. And now they'll try to do better here and come away with some points as they begin this drive, 1st and 10. They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Only able to gain a couple there, and that'll bring up 2nd down. You look at this Eagle defense. In that win last week over the Giants, they were very good.
I just consider myself fortunate that I'm not in charge of the offensive line. They gave up 7 sacks last week. And if things don't improve in this game, head coach isn't going to be looking at the offensive line. He's going to be looking at the offensive line coach. And that's when things get dicey.
And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. A yard in the wrong direction makes 3rd down tougher. 3rd down and 9. They're going to look to throw. And this is going to be incomplete.
Looks like a second empty possession to start the game, and certainly not the way you want to start when you're coming off of a loss last week. Every team talks about starting fast. They're hoping on their next possession, it can be a delayed fast start and get them going.
Just a minute 34 there following a punt of 44 yards. And it will be Eagles football, 1st and 10. Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start 1st and 10.
60 vices, 60 vices.
Throwing to start the drive. Terry. Got a man and he hits him in stride. That'll give him 8 that time. And they'll be left with 2nd and a couple.
And his play caller does a nice job of giving him an easy throw to start this drive, and he takes advantage of it. The completion sets up a manageable 2nd down.
18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal.
2nd and 2. Now he'll tuck this and run. And he's got his man in stride, complete. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. 14 yards there on an Eagle 1st down.
Okay, break.
3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. Start of the 2nd quarter, and it's the Eagles in possession as they've got it with a 1st and 10.
Trap 60, 19 Tiger, 19 Tiger, 18 Rattler, 18 Rattler. Scope.
Off the play fake. Terry. Now he's going to step up and run. And seeing no options, he just tosses this one away, incomplete. Now that'll bring up 2nd down.
Company Rangers. Panther 60, Panther 60.
They'll look to throw again. The 20. And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. It's a gain of 35.
Despite writing it down on my notes, I never give enough credit to the offensive line, and we have to here. The protection, that's what made this play a success. Quarterback had to wait for his crossing route to develop.
Let's go now.
And that takes a little bit of extra time. Excellent job by the big fellas up front.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up 2nd down.
Hold the set. Come on.
Looking to throw. Terry. And this is caught. Touchdown, Philadelphia. A great play there. His 3rd touchdown now on on the year. And the Eagles are able to stretch out their lead. Heck of a start to his season. He had 2 touchdowns in the opener last week, another one here in week 2.
Well, I don't want to call him a touchdown machine this early, but sometimes you get locked in, and you feel good about things. You get into that zone, and those touchdowns come in bunches. He may be off to that kind of a start.
It's like he was shot out of a cannon. I would imagine success this early, great momentum going forward for the rest of the year.
He keeps this up, they'll soon be chanting MVP anytime he touches the ball.
Is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. The lane opens here. He's past the 30. And all in all, a pretty solid return. Nearly got it to the 35. They'll mark him down officially at the 34. Looking to put a drive together.
Let's go.
They'll start this drive out on the ground. And they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10.
1 yard gain.
From the 34-yard line, here's a 2nd and 9. On play action, they'll throw. Quick throw, knocked away, and incomplete.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating a defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
St. Brown motioning left. On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. And able to catch it on the left sideline, but they're going to rule him out of bounds. So it'll be incomplete. Certainly one they'd like to have back as it brings up 4th down. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Taking it about the 16. 6-yard return after a punt of 48. And out will come the offense as they take over. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. That play going for 16 yards to start the drive. 1st down.
A gain of 16 yards. And an Eagle 1st down.
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Cannon. And he's able to get this one out closer to midfield across the 45. A gain of 8 there on the play. And it'll be 2nd and a couple.
Here we go.
Back to throw. Terry. To the sideline. And that's well done. Able to drag the feet. He's going to have the 1st down. It's a gain of 4 there, and it gives him a new set of downs.
Was that a receiver? Yeah, actually it was. It was a running back who was a receiver on the play. Ike's been spending time in the receiver drills getting his feet down.
Well, those guys out of the backfield, they got to be good, agile with their feet. He showed the agility there with a toe tap.
No doubt about it. It's like he went to ballet school. Got the toes down and stayed in bounds.
Nice progress down the field, was halted by that incompletion. They could try for some safe yards here to get things moving again, or keep throwing it and pushing it downfield to try and pick up bigger yardage.
Firing quickly, but it's incomplete.
He'll definitely say that that's one he should have held on to. But when you're playing in elements like this, sometimes those bullet passes, those ones with a little bit of pace on them, they can be difficult to hold on to.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions.
Panther 11, Panther 11. Let's go.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And he is caught. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. They'll get 34 yards there.
Well, he worked his way quite a bit in this first half, and with good reason. You can see it there. He is such a handful defensively, just too hard to keep him under wraps, and delivers a big play here for this offense.
And this will be well too low for him to bring in. It's incomplete. Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
Darn right. They did something to disrupt that timing.
60 Bobcat! 60 Bobcat! Go with him.
Off play action. Terry. And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. They'll wind up losing a full 9 yards here on the sack. Now it's third down. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Oh, that is incomplete. Good work by that Bronco defense, and it leads to a fourth down. And his kick here is good. And that will extend their lead even further. So 3 points there, and they continue to build this first half lead.
Yeah, every little bit helps. And the more that you can put together drives and start controlling the tempo, controlling possession, finishing with points, the better off you're going to be.
And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here. It hasn't gone particularly well for them, that's obvious. In these conditions, no points so far. They've got to get that offense on track. The question, how do they do it?
It is the age-old question, isn't it? And to me, finding a way to make sure your playmakers touch the ball without it being too exotic. Meaning you don't have to go deep down the field. Maybe you hit them on those short passes on the perimeter. Make sure you just turn around and hand it to your best runner and get out of the way.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And now they start in plus territory following that turnover as they'll try to get some points here before halftime. Following the fumble recovery, Terry throwing middle, and it's complete. And this will go as a gain of 7 as he gets it to the 30-yard line. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Up the middle they go. Vickers. And he stopped immediately there. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. On 3rd down, Vickers. And a strong run there as he'll maneuver his way down inside the 15. And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. There's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Looking to throw. Terry. And did he get the feet down? Yes, touchdown. A great effort there. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Eagles had 6 to their lead. The point after through the raindrops, up and good. And that pushes the lead up to an even 20. The Eagle kick team out there now as they run up and send this one away. A solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. Denver's offense ready to go again. And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
So after the sack, here's 2nd and 14. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Oh, he'll want that one back. Incomplete. He doesn't drop too many in that department. 3rd down.
That was not a real confident throw right there, and he's just 2 of 7 to start the game. Now he's going to have to find a groove with a big 3rd down coming up. Let's see if his confidence can increase.
And they'll send the tight end in motion here. They'll look to throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
a gain of 18. That's good for a Broncos first down.
They'll look to throw here on first down. He finds his man, complete. That's Ryan. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. Second down and 3.
7-yard pickup. Brings up second and 3.
Back to throw again. He's going to get this one out to his fullback. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
And the Broncos first down. First and 10 at the 44-yard line.
Back to throw here. It's caught by Randall. And he's taken down inside the 30. Now the Broncos will use their third and final timeout, as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the first half. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another first and 10. He'll look to throw. St. Brown making the catch on the out route. And he'll be out of bounds just inside the 25-yard line. Here now, second and 4.
It's a pickup of 6. Brings up second and 4.
He'll look to throw. To the sideline and incomplete. A misconnection there. He's hit on just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
Well, still trailing here, but they do get the late field goal. Now their defense will try to keep this score right where it is heading into the locker room.
Yeah, and trailing at the break, you obviously don't want to go in up of a negative play. Give them credit for that one. Finding a way to put points on the board, give them any type of a spark, anything to build off of as they try and plan a comeback.
So everyone's eager to resume play here in this Week 2 contest, so we push right through halftime and back at it for the start of quarter 3.
Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth ready for quarter number 3. And he won't quite make it to the 25. The Eagles ready to go on offense to begin quarter number 3. And Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it. But I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going.
Picked up by Talanoa Hufanga. And the return here will go to the 31-yard line. Not the way you envision things to start out the third quarter. One play and already a turnover.
It's interesting. You and I were talking with the coach, and he talked about how at halftime, as a play caller, he wanted to make sure he got a new script going for the second half, not just the one that he operated off of to start the game. Nowhere on that script did it have that result. I'll give them credit winning that first snap and forcing an incompletion. They're hoping that'll deflate the offense a little bit after they took the field charged up after taking over after a turnover.
He'll try again with the arm here on second down. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't.
Pressure applied, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back at the 33-yard line. The Broncos send out their punter now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away.
Philadelphia's offense ready to go again. The last drive for this offense, Charles, you remember it ended in one play, that quick interception, but they do still have the lead as they start this drive here.
And that's something to focus on for them as well, because it's not quite no harm, no foul. But the interception, hey, shake it off, move on. Hasn't cost your team the lead, and now it's time to rebound. And the quarterback and his teammates, they can add to the lead with a good drive here.
And able to get it across the 20 before they get to him. Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him a first down.
A gain of 13 yards. First down, Philadelphia.
Here we go. Let's go.
Now a handoff up the middle. Vickers. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. 47 yards rushing for him now to this point.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
So not quite a first down just yet as they come up on second and less than a yard.
19, 18, less than 19. 18, Rattler, 18, Rattler.
Back to throw. Terry. Wide open receiver complete. And he will step out of bounds here inside the 30.
First down. A gain of 40 yards. First down, Eagles.
So a first and 10 now in Denver territory as they've got it to the 28-yard line.
Trap 60, trap 60.
Operating from the gun. Terry. Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it. And it's second down.
So it looks like they still have some fight in them on this series because it seemed like things were headed for the red zone. But this defense gets 2 more stops. They can keep them out of that area.
And this is incomplete. Oh, that looked like a sure 6 points. But he could not get that to stick. And that is a golden opportunity wasted there. This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. And that's incomplete.
Whenever I see a drop like that, I have to kind of take a step back and check myself a little bit. So used to seeing those big guys make big-time spectacular plays that when they drop one, I have to remind myself, we ask a lot out of these guys. Block and catch the football, not easily done in today's NFL.
3 more points tacked on, and this margin getting more comfortable by the minute.
And with the lead where it is, you can actually feel good about field goals. We talk all the time about scoring 6s, not 3s. But in this case, they're just looking to chew up some time and come away with points.
And out a little across the 25 to the 27. And the football going back over to the Denver Broncos. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
It's a gain of 22 as we tick towards 2:22 on the clock.
First and 10 at the 50-yard line.
Right back to him on first down. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. So the first down run lost a couple. Now they come up 2nd and 12. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. And that's good for a gain of 6. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down. He's been quiet today in the passing game, just his 2nd catch.
Yeah, people have to come up with schemes to limit him. And what a lot of teams do, they'll double him, use a linebacker underneath, a safety over the top. Sometimes they'll just take a corner, maybe their 3rd corner if he's a bigger guy, and put him on a man.
Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes. And that'll bring up 4th down on the big sack with a loss of 5. He'll send this one into the mile-high air, and it's a good one. And a good result there as that'll get out of bounds and pin them back at their 10-yard line. Here comes Eagle offense now as they get set to take over here. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. Your 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
First and 10 at the 28-yard line.
19 tight. 19 tight. Ready? Cougar 19.
Back to throw now on first down. And that'll be off the mark, too far out in front, and it's incomplete. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. He's up now to 80 yards receiving in the ball game, and he's got a first down.
Trap 60. Trap 60. Trap the line. Ready?
Up the middle they go. Vickers. He's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard.
Good yardage there on first down. Exactly what you want. Get yourself set up to keep making first downs, keep the clock running. And if they're smart, you're starting to milk the clock. No hurry before you run your second down play.
And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
First and 10 at the 48-yard line.
Come on. Come on. Hey. Mike.
Now a handoff up the middle. Fowler. And they'll get this just to the 47. 1-yard gain.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground. But I think the play gets made by the defensive front. Because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost getting into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
And he's out of bounds, but not before a big pickup that time on what's going to wind up being the final play of the third quarter. It'll be first and goal when we come back. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back now to Denver. It's the Eagles in possession of the football and leading this one as we get ready to start the final quarter. Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's first and goal just outside the 5. Looking to throw. Terry. And he hits him in stride. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. Nice job defensively to hold him to 4, and now it's second and goal.
That's a good job there by the corner. We do talk about this a lot, that a lot of corners see their job as simply covering receivers. Tackling isn't everyone's thing. But in this case, he came up quickly and made a nice, sure tackle.
And it's caught. Only 3 yards there on the completion. That'll lead to a third and goal.
3 yards. It's now third and goal.
Hop, 70. Hop. Here we go. Here we go.
Back to throw. Terry. And that's going to be caught for an Eagles touchdown. A great play there. There to make the grab. And the Eagles are on their way to a 2-0 start. Point after, right down the middle. And that stretches the lead all the way up to 27. So, Charles, they're well on their way to a 2-0 start. Now, last week, they had the close victory. This one more commanding, much more comfortable.
Well, the sense we got from them was that last week they felt like they didn't play their best. They got the win, but they weren't really on top of their game. But they put it all together here in this one, haven't they? What an impressive, impressive performance.
And Denver getting set to take the field. Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Up 2nd and 9.
He'll drop to throw. He finds his man complete. It's Ryan. He showed off a nice juke of the defender before the next wave could bring him down. So the completion good for 6 yards. And this will wind up being a 3rd and 3. Back to throw. Pressure comes, and down he goes. The Eagles get there for the sack. They overload him that time on a safety blitz, and he winds up being dropped for a loss of 7. As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. Throw left side complete. That's Ryan. But they're going to wrap him up as he'll go down well short of a first.
Turnover on down.
70, Denver Wolf. Viking 18. Ready.
Throwing to start the drive. Terry. Guys, man complete over the middle. That's Cannon. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup.
When you have someone throwing it that well, that confidently, you don't have to call the game in fear at all, do you? You just go ahead and play.
Yep, confidence with a lead to throw it here in the 4th, and boom, he's on the money.
Yeah, you don't have to tuck your head in and go like turtle at this point. You can just go ahead and play.
Now they'll change things up.
70, 70. Bring it.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he's going to press this one forward as they stop it right around the 1. 5 yards, a good run there, and now 2nd and goal. And they'll turn to a power game to try to get in. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. Looking like they're well on their way to a 2-0 start. All smiles right now on that sideline, isn't it?
As well there should be. It's hard to win a game in the NFL. We hear it all the time. We know that it's difficult. But guess who's smiling? But inside is thinking 24-hour rule because we're going to have to play again next week.
Boss man.
Oh, without a doubt. The head coach, he wants them to feel good, but at the same time, find a way to keep improving.
Extra point right down the middle. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. The Eagle kick team out there now as they run up and send this one away. And he'll be stopped up at the 25. And coming out now, the Broncos. Looking to put a drive together. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well, sometimes as a running back, you've got to be able to improvise when the hole's not where you expect it to be. But in this case, there wasn't any improvisation that he could do that was going to work. Kind of like if you're trying to be a comedian on open mic night at the Improv and you run into a tough crowd.
It's a gain of 3. Brings up 3rd and 4.
Out of the gun now on 3rd down. And he's going to have the 1st down at about the 38. Give him 7 on the tuck and run, and it'll get him a new set of downs.
1st and 10.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Under pressure, and down he goes. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up 2nd down.
But one thing I do know, these guys on defense, they don't want this game to end. They're winning by multiple touchdowns. They've shut down the opposing quarterback in a big way, and they're still picking up sacks as we approach the end of this one.
Well, back foot throw there is incomplete.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this 2nd half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
The tight end in motion right. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He's got his target. That's complete. He's to the 15. And he's across for the touchdown. Too little, too late, but he does get in for 6.
No wonder you're grinning. You just beat me in our fantasy league.
Indeed I did, my good man. And he showcased his blazing speed on that one.
Was he wearing football cleats or track spikes? Because he was gone. Big-time play, and just think about what that does if you're a receiver on the team with him. Well, that's got to open things up for you as well, because if I'm a defense, I've got to get back deeper and deeper in order to keep him in front. But I'm not sure how many can actually keep him in front with that speed.
And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. The Eagles offense and their quarterback ready to go once more. And this defense might be about ready to wave the white flag. Nothing they have tried to throw at him has been that successful. He just processes things so quickly and makes a right read seemingly every time. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. Now they are really in the driver's seat here, enjoying this lead late in the fourth quarter. The defense does have all 3 timeouts, but at this point, doesn't look like it's going to matter much. So the completion good for 7 there, and it'll be second down.
Simple drag route here, lined up out left and trying to work his way back across the field. You probably saw me twitch there, partner, because I think he wanted the ball a little bit sooner. By the time he looked it in, defender was right on him.
Buffalo 18, Cougar 19. 79, 18, Rattler, 18, Rattler.
That one looks like he'll throw here. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And this is going to be dropped. Oh, my gracious. There was no one in his area code, but he could not hang on to it.
And that's one of the few things that has not gone right for this offense so far. They've had their share of big plays. That was nearly another. But somehow, he just couldn't squeeze it.
And they'll find the open man. That's complete. Now he's into the clear again. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. But not much defensive resistance on that drive. And really, Charles, the way this offense has been humming, they haven't faced much defensive resistance the entire game.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that one team, their defense did not wake up and make it to the stadium for this one. There may be some major changes on that side of the ball when we see them the next time out.
Good return up past the 30. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. Denver's offense now set to go. Well, CD, it's all window dressing at this point. I mean, the best they can do is in the game with a nice drive to maybe build some momentum to move forward into their next contest.
Yeah, with how lopsided this game has been, even one score might not do a lot of cosmetic good on the scoreboard, partner, because it's just about looking forward at this point. Get a touchdown here, give yourself some positive momentum and reps to focus on and get ready to practice in the next couple of days.
He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up second down. They'll look to throw here. A quick throw there is incomplete.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for him. And after this one's done, you just feel like at the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. They'll drop the throw. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And this play comes to a halt at the 33, and obviously that's well short of the first down.
It's fourth down.
Now on fourth down, on is the punt team sending this one away. This will be fielded at the 17. It'll be a 48-yard punt. 5 there on the return. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. The Eagles offense and their wide receiver getting set for this next possession. And he's had some kind of game. They made it a point to get him involved early, and it has paid giant rewards to this stage of the game. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go.
Well, they don't need to score here, that's for sure. They could just kneel it. They've got the huge lead late fourth quarter, but we'll see how they're feeling, Charles.
Yeah, we all know people out there who like to use every second of the clock, no matter what the score. And we know they don't need the points. They've scored in abundance already. Let's find out how they want to finish this ball game.
And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down.
Up big here in the fourth quarter, up really big. That pass and incompletion, I don't think they needed the completion, but Charles, this is an offense right now that they're just having fun. They're clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't need a completion. They certainly don't need any more points. But they're not going to turn them down. They're going to continue to run what they have in their playbook, and they still want to run it efficiently.
Come on. 60 Eagles. 60.
From the gun on third down. Terry. And it's incomplete. They're still throwing to the very end, but now this game is over.
Charles, a lot of happy faces heading into the tunnel as this one ends, and understandably so. Not only did they get the win,